This week, week 7 of the NFL season, our Texans take on the Indianapolis Colts. Big game for the Texans. Big game for the Colts. This game is a bigger game than the game the Texans won last week versus the Chiefs. This game is more important in my opinion. This game is tougher. Let me just lay it out there for you guys. If the Texans lose this game, the Colts would be 2-0 in the division. The Texans would be 1-1. The Colts would be 4-2. The Texans would be 4-3. And the Colts would be number 1 in the division if they win. And if the Texans win, the Texans would be 5-2, 2-0 in the division. The Colts would be 3-3, 1-1 in the division, and the Texans would have a 2.5 game lead in the division. So, this game is very big. This game will determine who will have the huge head start to win this division. This division is a 2-team race between the Texans and the Colts. Jags fans, Titans fans, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. This is Texans versus Colts. Other teams don't matter. Now, for this game, the Texans won't have Bradley Roby. Roby didn't like the signing when we signed him, but he proved me wrong. He was balling out. And now he's out with a hamstring injury. He's going to be out for, from what I'm hearing, a month. So he's not going to play here. Titus Howard, our first round pick, was playing really well at right tackle. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. So he's not going to play this game. So yeah, a little tough injury. Losses there, but I believe we'll manage. The Colts in this game, they're coming in 3-2. They're coming off a bye week. It's at their house. So you already know. It's going to be a tough game. Now, Indy, despite Andrew Luck retiring, they're still a pretty decent team. They have a lot of talent, such as T.Y. Hilton. You guys remember him. You guys know him. You guys hate him. I hate him. But, still have T.Y. Hilton. They got Quentin Nelson, Anthony Costanzo, Ryan Kelly, Braden Smith. Those 4 offensive linemen are very good. They got Eric Ebron, Jack Doyle, Justin Houston, who they just signed in free agency this past year. And they got Darius Leonard and Malik Hooker returning this game from injury. So they will be playing this game, unfortunately, for the Texans. And the Colts in general, I think what makes them a good team is the fact that they're a very well-coached team. They're a very well-coached team. Like Frank Wright, obviously he wasn't their first choice in being their head coach. They had Josh McDaniels, and then Josh McDaniels kind of, screwed them over, and I was laughing at it. But for the Colts, it was a blessing in disguise because they ended up with Frank Wright, and Frank Wright is probably one of the better head coaches in the league. But enough about all the little small stuff. Let's get into these matchups. Let's start off with the Colts offense versus the Texans defense, starting off in the run game. The Colts, they love to run the ball because they're very good at it. I believe they're 4th in the league in average rushing yards per game with 140 something. So they're very good at running the ball. And it's obvious to see why. They have a very good, straight up, dominant offensive line. Marlon Mack is very good. That O-line is very good. So they run the football. I mean, who wouldn't run the football? But the Texans, however, they're pretty good at stopping the run. The Texans allow an average of 88 yards per game on the ground, so they're good at stopping the run. However, just because the Texans are good at stopping the run doesn't mean, the Texans are just going to shut out the Colts' run game. No, the Colts are really good at running the ball, so I expect the Colts to have some success running the ball, but I don't see them being able to run all over the Texans. The Texans have a very talented front seven, J.J. Watt, DJ Reader, who's playing lights out, Whitney Merciless, Bernardrick McKinney, Zach Cunningham, even Brennan Scarlett, Charles Omenihu, Brandon Dunn, players like that have certain roles. They play their roles well, and because of it, the Texans have a very good run defense. And honestly, how this whole matchup plays out will depend on what the Texans offense does. Because if the Texans offense goes out there and puts up a bunch of points real quick, then the defense is going to be tired and the Colts will be able to run the ball over. Same thing if the Texans can't get anything going offensively, then the Colts are just going to be able to grind out the game, and towards the end of the game, they'll be going up against a tired Texans defense. So I think it's very important that the Texans offense in this game, they try to go on long runs to help their defense out, because late in games, this Colts rushing attack is very dangerous. Their offensive line can take over games in the fourth quarter, and I think it's important for the Texans offense to not put their defense in a tough situation like that. Now for the next matchup, the passing game. The Texans are without Bradley Roby, and believe me, I've already seen everyone panicking. Oh my God, T.Y. Hilton's going to torch us again. I've seen it. But don't worry, because you know what? Jacoby Brissett's got us. I'm not saying Brissett's a terrible quarterback, even though I don't like him. I don't think he's all that good, but he's not terrible. The thing about Brissett is he's captain check down. He's a game manager. He likes to dink and dunk. He's not going to beat you deep. He's just not. That's not what he does. Maybe that might be the game plan from Frank Wright. I don't know, but from so far, what Brissett has done this year and what Brissett did in 2017, he's not a guy who likes going deep. So you don't got to worry about T.Y. Hilton, torching us deep like last year or the year before that or the year before that or the year before that with Andrew Luck. You ain't got to worry about that. But, they like dinking and dunking, and it kind of plays to Romeo Crennel's strength, or what he likes to do, I guess. Romeo Crennel loves to play that bend but don't break, wait for the mistake defense. And, it's annoying, but I think against the Colts, it could work. Now, as far as the Colts offensive line versus our pass rush, if we're just rushing 4, honestly, I see us struggling to get pressure. I think Romeo Crennel is going to have to start blitzing because, like I said, Anthony Costanzo, Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, Braden Smith, they're very talented. Yes, we're talented as well, but I don't know, man. I don't see us being able to have success rushing the passer with just basic 4-man rushes. We're going to have to bring some pressure, Throw in Charles Omenihu and Jacob Martin in there because, we're going to have to be able to bring some pressure and make Jacoby Brissett get rid of the ball fast. And I think overall the most important thing for the Texans to do on defense is to tackle. I think in this game, tackling is very, very important. The Texans just can't let the Colts get those little small extra yards, like tackling Marlon Mack and not tackling him properly, and then he gets like an extra 2 yards by lunging forward. You can't have that because that's what the Colts like to do. They like grinding out the game. They're a run-heavy dink-and-dunk team. So you got to be able to tackle them. Don't let them get any extra yards. Like, bring them down. Tackle them properly. Now, let's move on to the Texans' offense versus the Colts' defense. Start off with the run game. The Texans have been really good at running the football this year. And the Colts, they haven't really had great success stopping the run this season so far. Yes, they're coming off a bye week, so, that bye week, a lot of things can get fixed during the bye week, so we don't really know if stopping the run is going to be one of them. And also, the Colts are getting Darius Leonard back. He hasn't played for them since, week 2, I believe, if I remember correctly. So, Darius Leonard being back, the bye week hitting at a right time for them, could help the Colts out in stopping the run. They go in there and they fix some things and they come out and they're able to stop the run. Teams do that. It happens. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Colts end up fixing some of their small issues because of the bye week. But I still see the Texans being able to have success running the ball this game. Now, as for the passing game, Deshaun Watson, he's been playing really well these past 2 weeks. He's been seeing the field. He's been taking what the defense gives him. He's been getting rid of the ball on time. And I think that's very important. Why? Because if you go back to that ugly, terrible wild card loss, you could blame the O-line. You can blame the lack of weapons. That's true. He didn't have an O-line. He didn't have the weapons. But Deshaun Watson, he wasn't seeing the field properly. He wasn't taking the checkdowns. He wasn't taking what the defense has given him. These past 2 weeks, he's done that. He's played really well, and he's improved as a quarterback, and I love it. So, in this game against the Colts, I see him doing the same thing. I think Watson has finally figured it out. This whole Texans system, their offense, it's the Bill Belichick Patriots offense. Pay attention. Brady, what does he do? Check down, check down, check down, check down, check down, with an occasional deep shot down the field. These past 2 weeks, what has Deshaun Watson done? Check down, check down, check down, check down, occasional deep shot down the field. I think Watson has finally figured it out. He's finally figured out how this offense is supposed to be ran. And this offense these past 2 weeks has looked amazing. Yes, the Chiefs defense and the Falcons defense isn't exactly all that great. But still, though, you got to practice it somehow. And practicing it against bad teams, it'll make you feel better. So then you go out there and do it against the better teams. And I'm not saying the Colts have this shut down awesome defense. They have an average defense. So I see Watson being able to have success on this Colts defense passing the ball. Because this time around, Watson has it figured out. He has the O-line, and he has the healthy weapons. And like I was saying earlier, just because the Texans can have all type of success against this Colts defense doesn't mean they should just go out there and, score quick and stuff. Now, I think they should play the time of possession game in this game. Because I don't want the defense being put in a situation where it's a close game. The Texans are up by, I don't know, 4. The Colts get the ball with, I don't know, 6-7 minutes left, and they're able to just grind the game out because of that offensive line. Because that offensive line, this Colts running game, is capable of doing that. So it's up to the Texans offense to, keep their defense rested. Now, the keys to the game if the Texans want to win. Number 1, stop the run. That's the most important thing. You can't let Marlon Mack and that offensive line get going, because if you do, it's going to be a long day. Next thing, start fast on offense. Why? Because you don't want to be playing from behind against these Colts, because again, that offensive line, that run game can run out the clock, grind out the game. So you want to be playing ahead so that the Colts are playing catch up to you. And the last thing, control the clock. Like I said, you don't want your defense being tired late in the game, because the Colts, they'll beat you. So control the clock. Now, my prediction for this game, I say 29-20, Texans win. Like I said, I think Watson's finally figured out how this offense is supposed to go. So whatever the Colts were doing to Watson last season when we played them, what was it, week 14, and when we played them in the playoffs, whatever they were doing to slow him down, it ain't going to work this time around, because this time around, Deshaun Watson is seeing the field. He's taking the checkdowns. And straight up, I just do not see Deshaun Watson losing 3 times in a row to the Colts. I just don't see it, because Deshaun Watson, he's a winner. He's a numbers guy. He's not going to lose 3 times in a row to the Colts. Now, the Colts, very talented team, well-coached team. It's going to be a tough game. Very tough game. I can easily see the Colts winning this game because they're a well-coached team. They're coming off the bye week. They're very talented, and the Texans themselves are coming off a pretty big win, so I could see the Texans coming in here hyped up and the Colts possibly humbling them. But I think the Texans know. I mean, they got embarrassed in the playoffs last year by this Colts team. They got knocked out of the playoffs by them. I'm pretty sure they're going to come in here extra hungry, wanting that win, especially Deshaun Watson. So like I said, I think the Texans win this game 29-20, and yeah, comment down below your predictions for this game. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.